days are over. They should cooperate, be transparent with the new government, wish us well, go back to opposition, keep us on our toes, and let's do the politics of Ghana for
the sake of Ghana. Brother, let's look at the fact that now, if this government takes over, the new government takes over, then we'll bring in the issue of judgment. Now, these contracts have been signed. If they take over, they can have, like you said, every right to scrutinize the document. If it is value for money and all that, they'll go ahead. If not, now, is it then worrying to say that they cannot act now, would have to wait till January 7?
I don't think they can act now because they are not in government.
Yes, they can act now.
So they can't. But they should be able to start gathering information, and the government of the day should be able to give them that kind of information. Like Afenyo is saying, it's important that transparency works. So if you're going to even give contracts, say this is ongoing, these are the contracts we're giving out, these are ongoing things, ongoing recruitments, ongoing construction that's being given to this, it should come out open. After all, it is not a personal thing. This is a government. And you expect that the incoming government will have to pay these contractors, will have to take in and work with these people you are recruiting. So I think that transparency is very important. We must do everything with open hearts. We must do everything thinking of Ghana first, and not the fact that we probably want to punish the next government that is coming in because we've lost. That's not how we should handle things. I am thinking that looking at the way things have been difficult with all the loans that we've collected, and the fact that we've not started recouping anything from those loans, we should be at least circumspect when we are giving out these contracts, because these contracts mean money.
Right.
And all these things will only come to burden the new administration. And I don't think that that is what we want, because at the end of the day, if the new administration, if we don't wish them well, you and I are going to be in this country. You and I are going to suffer the consequences. And therefore, whatever it is, I expect the transitions to both sides to be transparent, to be candid with each other, and for Ghana to be the winner. We should not think that we have to use any vindictive means to stall anything, any success story that the incoming government might be having. You see, we seem to be doing payback time. That is wrong. From the 2008, it was payback time. Somebody brought in, when people talk about the single spine, for instance, that the Kufuor administration introduced, I think that the NDC at that time rushed it into its implementation. And that is why I'm saying that we have to vet everything, scrutinize.
So they could have, taken a look at that document and decided to hold on, even though it's been signed.
Yes, they could have said, look, Ghana, we have gotten this. It's a very good idea. We believe we can listen, but we want to take a look at it before implementing. But they were in such a hurry to please that they just implemented. And that's where it's gotten us, to this stage. So I think that even with these contracts, with these employees, you can have a freeze. You can freeze them and look at them.
Then it means that the incoming government should not be worried if it has the power to do all
unless those appointments are constitutional appointments. There are some that are constitutionally binding.
Right. If a person has gone through the Public Services Commission and is been employed, if you want him off, it means that you have to do the right thing.
The right thing.
Right. Now, again, the issue is that handing over notes were to have been done some months back. The Chief of Staff, who is leading the government team, suggested or said that it could not be done because it was in the campaign period. Certainly it was. This is not the right thing.
That is a lame excuse. I have always felt that in the third year of governance, you should start preparing your handing over notes. It doesn't matter whether you're going to win or not. And you upgrade them as you go. You delete, you insert, that kind of thing. We would not have gotten to this stage if we had done the right thing. I don't think that using the campaign was a good excuse, honestly. Things happen. I mean, contracts that have been signed have time limits. Everything has a time frame. we know the money is involved, we know whatever. We should be able to at least get something on paper so that the incoming administration can always look at it. And if they had done that, they wouldn't even be rushing. Like Afenyo is saying, at this moment, they cannot cover every sector. It's just going to be superficial,
right,
whatever they're doing. They can't cover every sector. And because of that, they're going to overlook so many things. It is only when a new government comes in that they can start issuing our letters of query. That to give a very smooth takeoff. So I think that excuses will not help us, but we should also learn from these kinds of excuses that coming forward or going forward, we should be able to do those things. A month to time, we should be ready.
Alex, let me stay on this one a while, because one of the key challenges is that the Administrator General is said to be running into problem because he lacks what it takes to do the very work that we are talking about now. And he talks about the fact that he has no staff, he has no vehicles, and all kinds of things to go and take inventory of state property. But don't we have government agencies that already do these work?
No, the Administrator General has a specific mandate. And I think that his job includes seeing to a smooth transition, taking custody of some of these documents and all that. We should know that doing this work will require logistics. So if he's complaining that, look, I don't even have the staff, I don't have the logistics, that tells you how as a nation we don't take things like that serious. And it is time we took up some of these things and realized that, look, we should take every business of government serious. Ensure that, because this handing over, you may take it lightly, but tomorrow, if things are not right, somebody may be in his village relaxing, somebody may be on holidays, and you may be prosecuted, you may be called upon, come to BNI, come to Yoko, come and answer questions. So I would encourage the outgoing government and its functionaries that it's in their own interest to cooperate and make documents and information available. The Administrator General is not too late to make available the needed logistics to enable him function effectively.
What logistics precisely?
But he's talked about vehicles.
He has.
Then you need some staff to support. He can work as an individual. With all these things, in other jurisdictions, they take transition rather more seriously.
Government property inventory, does it take 8 years to work? I'm trying hard to reconcile logistics and personnel and all that.
Don't oversimplify it. If he's taking custody,
right,
he needs to put things right. He needs
on a computer, a laptop?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Okay, so
you need hard,
the hard copy.
If he's not clear, they need to reconcile. He needs technical people who understand public service administration, people who have experience, who have knowledge on how some of these things are put. All right, it's not just a matter of, okay, come and dump it on me. If you bring some document, it is his job to verify, clarify, ask you even questions. You are handing over to him. There's supposed to be that engagement.
Okay, so
and he cannot do it.
So already he's receiving document, because there are, for instance, the civil service sure has a department that has inventory of every state
obviously
asset.
every
and they'll hand that over to the Administrator General.
What is supposed to be handed over, at least for the perusal of the new administration.
Right.
Because there are certain things that you need to verify. You need to ask a few questions just to arm yourself, because you also have a new policy. At least you need that preparation before 7th of January. After swearing in, there's no time. You can't go to bed. You need to get into government business. All right. So those essential things. That is why, I initially submitted that we need to decentralize. The engagement must not be limited the Administrator General,
to the top
in fact,
alone.
Yes, the Administrator General, in fact, must have offices at the regional level, at the district level, to allow for that engagement. We should take the whole thing rather seriously. And I'm sure that we would get the opportunity as members of parliament to debate this at another time.
The transition process.
Yes, it is very, very important. I mean, how could the man was complaining that, look, somebody would have to sit on Okada and go, why? It tells you that maybe.
But if you have to get the work done, sitting on Okada is wrong?
Sitting on Okada at whose expense?
Yeah, of course, but I'm sure he runs.
No, he says there's no money.
So he
says that what he needs to have, he doesn't have. So as a country, let's look at improving upon this in future. And it is very important. If it comes up on the floor of the House, I would strongly support a decentralization of it. I would.
I will come to, but a quick one on that before we. Some have argued that already the civil service is bloated, and that this Administrator General thing can be done by the civil service. So now the man comes in, he's asking for a table, he's asking for a chair, he's asking for a car, he's asking for money to do A, B, C, D. Can't we allow the civil service to do this very work this person is doing?
We should be able to. If our records keeping is good, if we have the expertise of how to collect data within the civil service, if we have a very vibrant civil service working, we should be able to. But I am sure that the position is within the civil service, even though it seems outside.
Right.
Because he or she will by all means be taking the inputs from the civil service. So what is missing is the communication between the governor and the civil service. The civil service should be able to feed him with information. And therefore, if the civil service have got the information, I am sure he will find his work easier to do. But if the civil service is looking at him as an individual or as a particular group that is supposed to do a particular job, and therefore no interference, then maybe that's where he's having the problem. But, the over bloating of the civil service is one of the reasons why we are asking why employment is being given to some people right now. We don't know whether we can afford it or not. So, for me, work should always be in progress. It should always continue. We should always do, because you see, right, even from the time Kwame Nkrumah left office, there are still some state things that are in public hands, they're in private hands. You understand? There are so many things that have not really been documented. And I remember late Isaka, who was trying to get all government estates documented and stuff. I don't know who has taken over from him. Was telling me that, look, it's so difficult because there's no document, there's no paper. And therefore, when you think of this transition, I can just imagine what is happening. Because sometimes we do things without documentation. We take documents to be just anything. We don't take serious view of documentation. Even in Ghana, when you go and buy something, you don't want a receipt.
Right.
Are you getting me? So all these things. But for me, transition should be such that it should be smooth and running. There should be no reason why anybody should think that I'll keep something away from the government. It's actually a crime to do that.
Right.
If you know something and you're keeping it away, it's a crime. So why should anybody want to do that? So it should just be transparent. All we are asking is transparency.
I'm grateful, brother. And let's move on to the business and financial tab. This story, the paper is reporting that opinions are divided over whether the current governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Asiedu, should be allowed to serve his term following the electoral victory of the NPP. Now, a former finance minister and member of parliament, Dr. Anthony Akotose, believes that the governor should step aside. Meanwhile, the chief executive of DLX Finance is suggesting that that shouldn't be the case. And then a former president of the Ghana Bar Association, Mr. Sam Kudjetu, is also against the moves to get the Bank of Ghana boss ousted. Now, Dr. Akotose is suggesting that even though the governor's term is secured under the Constitution, it will be prudent for him to step down, as he feels the governor is strongly attached to the former government. And he says that if I were in this position, I would voluntarily step down, considering his strong political leanings to the outgoing government. Now, let's listen to what Mr. Ukujeto is saying. Now, he is saying that it will have dire implications on the economy, as the incoming government will have to dole out huge sums of money as payoff to the governor, and it's likely to affect investor confidence in the short term. So under the Article 8134 of the Constitution, he shall not be removed from office except on the same grounds and in the same manner as the Justice of the Supreme Court. Mr. Afenyo-Market, where do you stand?
Let's understand it in a proper context and perspective.
Right.
There are some political appointments that are very constitutional, and once you are given that appointment, you will enjoy security of tenure. Electoral Commission chair appointment is one such example. Governor of the bank is also one such example. Nobody can touch you constitutionally. I know that where my very learned senior and lecturer is coming from, because he was a member of the board of Bank of Ghana,
right,
in the Kufuor era. And when the NDC assumed office, they kicked him out, and he was not happy with it. He took the matter to court and all that. So, yes, he is right in his views that we need not disturb some of these appointments. But on the flip side, where you are so much attached to a political party in office, and you subscribe to their policy, and there's a new government, maybe as a personal decision, you could say that, well, you think you would want to move on. You don't see working in a new environment. That is your personal decision to take.
Right.
Again, there are people who are given such positions, and they act in so much partisan manner that when a new government takes office, no matter how such people enjoy security of tenure, they may be compelled to say, look, you knew you were supposed to be apolitical. You were supposed to serve the state, yet you were very partisan. I'll give you an example. In my backyard, Efutu, we have a university. The University of Education is supposed to serve the interests of the people. They are not supposed to be partisan. But you have a finance officer who was openly a finance officer, who is a principal officer of the university, part of management, openly supporting the NDC and spending money. A vice chancellor who is...
You mean money from the university?
No, I don't know where is the source.
Okay, so,
no, I'm saying spending money. That's why I didn't say public funds. I'm not saying public funds.
Right.
I'm saying spending money, and openly. The university vehicles conveying NDC activists from rurals. Obviously, when a new government assumes office, you, the vice chancellor, you have a security of tenure, 4 years, but the new government may want to now, you have party colors. When the another party, university property, there's a place, Liberation Square, flag bearer Nanado has come to Winneba. We want to use the place. We've asked for permission. It's been approved last minute. We get there, we are embarrassed as a party that, VC says you can't use it. Then, but the NDC, they approve it for them. And you are showing your colors. You go to a village to campaign. Lecturers go there and we see with our eyes. Obviously, once the new government comes into office, though you are supposed to have security of tenure, you may be looked at with a certain eye. I'm trying to point out some of these issues, all right? So, let those who occupy certain positions, though you might have been appointed by a particular government, you should know that, look, where you are serving the state. You are not serving a party interest. So that when a new government comes into office, it wouldn't be like, there's witch hunting, or it wouldn't be like, you are a victim of political machinations and all that. But your own conduct would have given you up because of the way. If you go to National Service Secretariat, I'm sure the director there, though it's a political appointment, he's supposed to be in office. But where the man contested, on the ticket of the NDC. You get my point? How do you expect such a situation, the man to be there?
So
you get my point?
So he will be kicked out.
I've not said so. I am trying to open up a discussion. I've not said so.
But as long as he is not a member of the incoming party.
Right, we are discussing a matter. I want to put it in a perspective to guide the future conduct of certain appointees.
Yes, I know. But are you suggesting that if an appointee, like you said, act and work like a statesman, the incoming party will keep him or her? Is that what you want to say?
It's supposed to be the case.
Okay, all right.
It's supposed to be the case.
Okay.
But don't forget the Kojoga-Adra case at the Supreme Court, where I wanted an interpretation. Remember, the Ghana Highway Authority, one of their staff contested as chairman of NDC in Efutu.
Right.
And GES staff also contested. And I thought, look, Ghana Highways is part of the public service. GES is part of the public service. And the matter went to Supreme Court for interpretation. The court was very clear that, look, all those who have not been listed, that have not been prohibited under Article 94.3
can go on and contest.
And that is where I have a problem. Okay? The court interpretation of the law, of course, that is the final decision point. They've interpreted, look, if you've not been listed, so it means that if you've not been listed, like Ghana Highway Authority, the chief executive can do politics, can be national chairman of a party. But the practical challenge is that when a new government comes into office and say you are the regional chairman of the NDC and you are the deputy chief executive of Ghana Highway Authority, although the constitution allows you per the Kojoga-Adra ruling, you can do it, you would have a practical challenge, because then what would the new government do? MPP, you are an NDC, you are a regional chairman, you come to Efutu, constituency chairman, he works at Ghana Highway Authority. How would he work with the municipal chief executive?
Let me ask you, Mr. Okuchato says that now the law is aware of this in the case of the Bank of Ghana governor. So he says the day of appointment of the governor is not the same as the day of the appointment of the government. So he says allow a law to work.
Oh, I am for the law.
Okay.
But I am also talking about the conduct of the individual.
Okay.
That yes, when you are appointed, look at the law. Look at how you fit into the law and conduct yourself accordingly. You get my point? To fit into it. But I am giving you the situation on the flip side. People who see this as, well, it's the government of the day.
Right.
Let me play according to, and then you want to now move away from the government and support the party. We are human beings. Beyond the law, there is a practical operative force. And I've given you several examples. The University of Education, a VC, a finance officer, who are principal officers.
Okay, all right.
Their conduct.
I have heard of that. But I'm asking you a final question before I go to Rhoda. So
obviously, a new government cannot work with that. But that of the Bank of Ghana governor, so, I have not seen him being partisan.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Should he voluntarily step down?
Well, that is his choice.
Okay.
I mean, he
would you want him to step down? If you were to take that decision, would you ask him to quit?
Well, he was one time a candidate for the NDC.
Alex, answer the question.
No, let me give you...
No, I know. Rhoda will have to come in if you were to
okay,
take
then
that
you
decision.
go to Rhoda then. Go to Rhoda.
All right, Alex, I'm grateful. Rhoda, come in. I mean, the opinions...
But he was one time the candidate of
That is not the question I'm asking. I'm asking that if you were to take that decision...
I'm just finishing with some facts.
I know, yes, I know.
You know that.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes, I know.
You
and
know
you
that.
also know.
No.
So if you had... if you were to
he has some umbrella blood in him.
Alex, right. I'm grateful. Rhoda, so I think the views are many. Some want him to stay. Others think that he should step down because he seemed to lean towards the outgoing government.
I expect that he should stay, but he should be professional. But he should also search his conscience. And if he feels and believes that he cannot work with the MPP government, then he should resign on his own. But I expect that as a Ghanaian, I think he was second national,
Deputy,
second deputy
governor before he was. Yes, second deputy governor.
Okay.
In charge of economic statistics, finance, legal.
Yeah, so he was already in the mainstream.
Yes.
And then he got that position. It's not that they fished him out from somewhere. So he was already in the mainstream. So, and if his job is secured by the Constitution, I expect that he should stay. But he should be professional. But if he realizes within himself that he cannot work with the NPP, he should go home. That's how I see it. You see, we create problems for ourselves. Whenever a new government comes, sometimes we actually take somebody from down from somewhere, lift the person straight up to a position, thereby letting other people go home. It creates problems. If we continuously followed procedure, say within the military, you look at their system, the way they go, who is supposed
the hierarchy.
The hierarchy, you know, then you go according to that. But once you go and muddy the waters, it creates a whole lot of problems. So for me, it is time for us, all of us as politicians, as leaders of political parties, for us to realize that we are dealing with a country. And in that country are human beings. They are all Ghanaians. They all want this country to move forward. And therefore, if you come and you feel like, I have to push this person off and get somebody else to come, you should also realize that when your time is up, somebody is going to also push your man off. Is that what we want? He's a professional. He's been given a job.
I see.
His job is secured. So if he can do the job, if the NPP believes that they want a professional man, and he is professional enough, like I didn't see him in any rally or make any statement. I don't know how active he was.
But Alex knows he once contested on the ticket.
But was he financing some NDC candidates?
Alex.
No, these are
That's
questions.
what I'm saying.
I've not stated this as a fact.
Yes, I know.
We are asking questions, aren't
Yeah,
we?
but you know
that
that.
did he finance some candidates?
Okay, maybe
Did he have some candidates
you know
on his
what?
list?
Unfortunately, we
these
might
are
not
questions.
know.
Okay.
He could have
Exactly.
financed some NDC and he could have financed some MPP. Because he
Or
was friends.
CPP
Or CPP.
or,
Or
PNC.
for that matter, PNC. It is
It
possible.
was not wide enough.
So for that matter, you can't say that he's being partisan or not. Like I'm saying, I just think that the man should just be left there and he should be professional about it.
If we take him out or if he resigns, so who comes in is from where?
It will come from the NPP.
Okay, so
Or they're
it
going
means
to
that
look for somebody within or outside whom to them will be playing ball with them.
so the next time there's a change, then we come
So
and
we
sit here
continue
again and talk
change
about the
somebody
same
else. So I'm saying that we should let the system work. If somebody is in a position, like the national service guy, for instance, I asked for that one, I would accept that he goes. Because
he's not professional in that
Yeah, no, he wasn't
area.
professional. He should
Yes,
have even resigned to go and contest. He should have resigned and go and contest. But you don't sit in the system and then contest. You know, it just gives a certain idea to people that only NDC people will have this at the national service or that. So it's better for him to resign.
Let me ask you that. I'll put the same question to Alex. If the NPP should fail, would it be their bad economic policies or perhaps because they allowed a governor who has leanings towards the outgoing government to stay in office?
No, it will be because of their policies. I don't think the governor is someone who has got a particular role to play with their governance of this country. They are going to have a finance minister. They're going to have an economic team.
And the two work together.
And the two work together. And it will come out, you know, it will come out very glaringly if the governor is sabotaging. It will come out. Because you see, at the end of the day, the governor also belongs to a society. He belongs to an association of bankers or whatever, or economists. He wouldn't want to be seen as somebody who is being unprofessional, I don't think. So by all means, he is going to have to behave professionally. So if the NPP fails, it will be because of their probably weak economic policies.
And not because
No, I don't think. No, I don't think so.
Alex, would you want to answer this question that if the NPP should fail, would it be that the economic policies were not good, or would it be because they left a governor who should have been kicked out of office at the Bank of Ghana?
You want to find a bad dog.
Alex, I'm not finding the bad dog. Yes.
In other words, you still want to ask whether or not the governor be maintained.
Right.
Let me put it differently. The government has a plan for this country, Nanado's government. The priority of this government is to create jobs. How is government going to create jobs? The government of Nanado does not intend to put undue pressure on public purse. Therefore, it's going to engage the private sector. You recall that I had stated on this platform that the youth enterprise support policy was very laudable, but the implementation was bad. Bad in the sense that the NDC government did not engage AGI. I am a product of AGI. People know me as a lawyer, but I'm a businessman. I know what AGI can do. We have an association well over 50 years with very experienced entrepreneurs there. The Nanado government is going to engage AGI from day one. Ensure that the private sector gets the opportunity to make an input so that they will create the opportunity. This issue of one district, one factory, well, it was just a campaign cliche. But it's going to be more than that. All right. There's going to be a lot of opportunities. Already we've not come into office, but I can tell you, Brian, a lot of businessmen have engaged me. Alex, we are the Winneba. Businessmen. People suddenly have a lot of confidence. If we are able to do, somebody has sent me pictures. He's a young man. He says, look, he wants to do drinks, this fruit juice. He does it in his bedroom. He needs about 20,000 Ghana. He can get a machine and order. I have started engaging people. There are a lot of opportunities out there, but it is for people to grab it. So then another government is not going to sit down, unconcerned, wait for 4 years to come there and you say, oh, I am sorry. It was a bad economy. You know the situation I found. No. It's not a time for blame game. So Nanado would win, would succeed on the strength of the policies. Transparency. Get competent people. I mean, we need not tell you. But in NPP, there are people, you look at their CV, they have really achieved something in their field.
So they can do the work of the governor of
no,
the
I'm not talking about, I am telling you that I'm not interested in who the governor is. Okay. I'm not talking about the governor. I am talking about the policy of the Nanado government. It is going to engage the private sector. It is going to ensure transparency. It is going to ensure judicious use of public resources so that if we don't abuse resources, like I've said on this platform before, you go and borrow 200 million Ghana cedi at compound interest. In 3 years, you cough 299 million. Obviously, you can't pay teacher training allowances. In a year, how much does it cost the nation to pay teacher training allowances?
Okay.
It's about setting your priorities right.
So
if you don't
it's a
go
Bank
and do
of
bad
Ghana
negotiation, right? If you don't go and do bad negotiation with the Chinese, say that you end up paying $200 million in penalties alone because you want to get a loan. And they say, meet this condition today. You don't meet it. Within 3 years, you've paid over $200 million, which is 800 million Ghana cedis.
Alex, what is the role of a governor who is a member of the party in all this? That's what I want to hear.
Right.
Yes. What is the role of a governor of a Bank of Ghana who is a party member in all this that we are talking about? Making judicial use of state money, doing good negotiations. That's what I want.
Right. On this occasion, and on this occasion only, I am choosing not to answer the specific question about the role of government.
Okay, I hear.
I've given the general perspective. How Nanado intends to run this government.
Right.
How Nanado
and
intends
it's going
to
do that with the governor of the Bank of Ghana.
Right. On this occasion.
So
and on this occasion only. Okay. You take away the governor. I am saying that there's going to be a finance minister.
Okay.
There's going to be an economic management team.
All right.
There's going to be leadership in parliament. We're going to have a cabinet that would see to the implementation of policy that would achieve results. Central region will benefit, Northern region will benefit, Eastern region will benefit, the entire nation will benefit. Oil resources will be properly utilized, transparently. People will see it.
Okay.
That is all.
Alex, I'm grateful. He's a member of parliament. He retained his seat for the Futu constituency. Thanks so much. He said by a wide
No, not I am saying so. You know that. Why are you saying that it's subject to further verification?
No, that's what I mean.
You know that Nanado performed.
I'm saying that you said that I should add that it was.
No, you should.
Okay, all right.
Alex, you should.
Okay.
That Nanado won by over 9,000 votes.
In the Futu.
Yes, we came from a deficit of 135 votes.
Okay.
Nanado had a deficit of 135 votes. And in a Futu, the maximum a candidate has ever won is 3,000.
Okay.
So this 2016, very unprecedented.
All right.
The people
Alex, I'm grateful. Member of Parliament for the Futu constituency, Rhoda Ayana, is also the member of the CPP's communication team and a former second vice chair. Grateful for your time this morning, too.
Thank you.
They decided to bring Obroni to win. That brought him.
I'm grateful. All right.